Or very rarely will those two social classes intertwine. But this department store is now a hotel, but when it was a department store, had some very tricky marketing behind it. For 133 years, it had three big white letters at the front: P-U-B. P-U-B is the best three-letter word in any language. The pub, it wasn't a proper pub, it was a department store. Stood for the guy who set that up in 1882, whose name was Paul U. Bergstrom. That sign was deceiving thirsty people like myself for 133 odd years. And the store's main claim to fame, in June of 1920, but I still celebrate this today. There's a restaurant just behind this truck here, pretty expensive. It's called Greta's, in honour of this person. But in June of 1920, they hired a very young, very poor, attractive Swedish girl who went by the name of Greta Gustafsson. Now, she beat 55 other very rich applicants for a job to work behind the counter. From here, the management liked the look of her, offered her an opportunity. Would you like to model hats in the store catalogue? She was shy, she said no, they insisted, she said yes. From here, her life changed forever. From these catalogues, she was noticed by a Swedish film director. She then started to star in some silent Swedish films. From these films, she was noticed by one of the co-founding members of MGM Hollywood Studios. She moved from Stockholm to Los Angeles. She dropped the name Gustafsson. She then became Greta Garbo, the actress. Has anybody heard of Greta Garbo? Yeah, good. Thank God for that. All right, well, that would have been really embarrassing, wouldn't it? Here we go. This is her in her prime. She was a role model for people. What? She was a role model for people, not just in Sweden and America, but all around the world. I did a tour a couple of weeks ago. Not one person had heard of Greta Garbo. I thought, finally, as a tour guide, I can convince a bunch of strangers she's Sweden's first female astronaut. And the lady standing right there goes, well, what Apollo mission was she on, Ryan? I don't know, 6? Is that the one without Tom Hanks? I've got no idea. But she wasn't an astronaut. She was an actress, and a very fine one at that as well. When she moved to Hollywood in the mid-20s, she could not speak a word of English. Perfect. Hollywood was at the height of the silent film boom. Now, you don't really need to speak English to act in silent films, but as Hollywood went to more speaking roles, the men around her, the producers, the directors, told her she would never act again. Her English wasn't up to standard. She defied these men, she taught herself English, she spoke with a very posh British accent. In 1933, she demanded to be the highest paid actor or actress in Hollywood for that year. She was paid $375,000 to play the lead role in the #1 film released in Hollywood for that year. It was called Queen Christina. Number 2 was actually the more famous King Kong. This is not King Kong on the left, but this is a great comparison between how Hollywood has been tainting reality since at least 1933. And in fact, I really wanted to hear an Australian guy yell at the top of his voice about Captain Hook and Greta Garbo. Now he's got his day all made out for him. But in 1941, Greta Garbo was at top of her game. She starred in this film. The film bombed. The critics were harsh on her. She took that to heart. She quit. You can't abdicate from Hollywood. She moved to New York. She spent the rest of her days trying to stay away from the limelight and the cameras. They say she went crazy in her later years. She used to go to the cinemas, purchase all the seats in the cinemas, so she was the only one there. Demand they put old films of herself on. She always abused the screen, saying she wasn't good enough. She should have done things a little bit differently. Very harsh on herself, nominated 3 times for Academy Award. She won 0 Academy Awards until 1954. Long after she retired, they gave her an honorary award. I think that's quite cool as well. Back here in Stockholm, there are quite a few award ceremonies. The most famous one happens December 10 every year, set up to reward people that have done good for humanity. Does anyone know the name of this world-famous award ceremony? No. Nobel Prizes. All right. Who has heard of the Nobel Prizes then? Yes? Yes, there we go. I wouldn't embarrass you like that. All right, there are 2 places in the world the Nobel Prizes are handed out. One's in that blue building, one's in Oslo in Norway. I can't be bothered walking to Norway. We're going to walk over here. Before we do though, what is the only Nobel Prize you should care about, or the first one that comes to your mind? Yell it out. First one. Peace. Thank you. That is it. You guys might like this. This is #1 way to annoy educated Swedish people. You tell them the only Nobel Prize you care about is the Peace Prize. Swedish people don't like it one little bit. I'll tell you why very soon. Let's go over here to